Welcome back to Talking Winter Ops. It's that time of year again when we sit down with other organizations working in winter maintenance to catch up on what they've been doing this past year. I'm Rick Nelson, and I'll be your host for the 2026 National Winter Maintenance and Road Weather Briefing Series. These briefings give us an opportunity to catch up with our partners in winter maintenance and road weather, learn about what they've been working on over the past year, and hear about their plans for the future. More importantly, they give you a chance to see how these ideas, tools, and initiatives might fit into your own operation. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize the organizations that make these briefings possible. First, a big thank you to the AASHTO Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program, the sponsor of Talkin' Winter Ops, its parent committee, the AASHTO Committee on Maintenance, and its close partners in the Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group. And of course, thanks to the state DOTs whose annual contributions to the Winter Weather Management Technical Service Program make it all possible. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's catch up with our partners across the country to hear about what's new and what's coming up next. This segment focuses on AASHTO's Maintenance Committee's Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group. And with us is Jed Falgren from the Minnesota DOT and chair of the Maintenance Operations Technical Working Group there at the Committee on Maintenance. Hey, Jed.
Hey, Rick. How are you today?
Good, thanks. So, what's going on with the Maintenance Operations Twig these days?
Well, we are excited. Our next big event will be out at the Committee on Maintenance meeting in Westminster, Colorado, coming up here at the end of July. We've got 3 days of breakout meetings that we're going to be getting together. Myself as chair, Darren Hemmelink from Missouri, and Alan Hanscom from New Hampshire. We've got I think a really nice agenda put together and things we're going to talk about. Obviously, with the departure of Brad Dar from North Dakota and that role that he served so well, we've got some storming of our group, or forming and norming, but talking a little bit about some of the things that are happening just within the technical working group itself. There'll be some updates that we will provide that'll come from the Committee on Maintenance just to share with them. But we're going to lead off on Monday with one of our presentation that is actually a presentation that was given recently at the Winter Weather Management meeting down in Houston, and that is an all things liquids presentation that Craig Bartfried from the Iowa DOT is going to come in and share with us. So liquids are a passion to Craig. They're a passion across the country, and quite frankly, they're a passion of mine. And so it's one of the early things we wanted to talk a little bit about. So we'll be talking about that, and some of that will lead into some open discussion on what we want to do around liquids. So Craig's got a really great presentation on some of the great work we're doing in Iowa. But again, anytime we're going to get together with a group, I want to have a forum and an opportunity to talk a little bit about that. And then also a little bit that day, we're going to close out with the Winter Weather Management TSP update with myself and Tom Reniger from Nebraska. So that'll be our day one. Day two, we're going to highlight one of our coordinating groups, the AASHTOs CTSSR group. Is actually going to be also meeting alongside of the Committee on Maintenance. And Chris Engelbright from Missouri is putting together some neat work that we are talking about in kind of that emergency response situation. And so Chris is going to talk a little bit about a tabletop exercise design for emergency response. Sometimes your best way to perform well in the emergency is to have at least talked about it a little bit in advance. So we're excited about Chris talking about that. We are planning also on potentially talking about Transcom, and that is a relationship with the military and how state DOTs can form with that or can work together with that. We end up moving that presentation actually to a full session group of the entire committee. So that if it doesn't get covered at the committee level, we're going to cover it at our TWG level. Another interesting idea or item that we're going to touch base on that day is Ty Winter from the Idaho DOT is going to talk to us about performance measures. Ty's been involved with some great work around performance measures here recently. Certainly something that all of us can learn from, can be involved with, and just get our arms around as we take a look at how do we best not only do the work, but also share with others how we're doing that work, whether it's a fiscal stakeholder as our taxpayers, or maybe it's the other operations folks that we're trying to work within our given state DOTs. Just those performance measures become so important. Oftentimes the adage, what gets measured gets done. And so we're anxious and really pleased to have Ty coming in to talk to us also on our second day. On our third day, we are going to continue with our joint discussions with CTSSR and talk about kind of an open more discussion. Maybe it's DOT facility safety things we can talk about, or security, employee security. We'll touch on that. Probably talk a little bit about resilience, FHWA ER. So we got a bunch of individuals will be coming in and talking about that. That third day will also be the day where we really enjoy giving the platform to Jeremy McGuffey at FHWA, and he's going to talk really about their road weather management program, give us an update on that, research, development, kind of outreach, training, all the different things that Jeremy's team comes together. And one of the things that we want to kind of close that discussion with our time in Colorado is Mark DeVries from Vizsla and Ben Hershey from DTN are going to go through a list of kind of some of the latest trends in winter maintenance. And in many cases, we will have a lot of the people that were involved at those trends, but this is also a good level setting to just kind of talk about what are those emerging things that are occurring, who are those emerging technologists, who are the people you want to go to or should be going to or connecting with when you think about resolving an interesting solution or an interesting challenge within your respective DOT. So I think with those 3 different days getting together, our TWG will get a chance to kind of introduce ourselves with the leadership team. It is a farewell for Alan, who will be retiring sometime soon after the meeting. So we'll be looking at how do we fill his leadership spot within our TWG. But again, we're always excited to get ourselves together, and I'm looking forward to a great time out in Colorado.
Jed, I think some of the things too that get covered in the maintenance operation TWG is this research, this idea of research needs. There's opportunities to talk a little bit about what's happening in people's organizations and their operations. Are there some gaps out there that maybe need to get plugged, and maybe there's some research or just some synthesis kind of activities that, just sort of to find out who's doing what in what particular arena. That always seems to occupy a little bit of the breakout time.
Absolutely. And that's actually part of some of our day one conversation, is just kind of talking about the nuts and bolts, things that occur within our TWG. We've been very successful in the past. I will certainly credit some of the great work that Brad did in his tenure here on kind of championing some of those research need statements, moving some of those items forward. At this point, we don't have anything that's kind of on the docket or ready to move forward into the new side of research, but that's again why we get together and we start talking about things and identify, hey, is there something that's unique and interesting that we should be leaning into? So absolutely a great part of what our conversations can be about while we're in Colorado.
Jed, can you talk a little bit about the operations breakfast that you have on Tuesday mornings?
What we want to do is just have our TWG. If you're not able to sit around and talk about it, really this kind of helps us out as we talk about our winter, our winter weather management. just flows right off the tongue real well. It will flow better. But it is a chance for us, again, to bring folks together to talk about how we can best engage. The winter weather management TSP is very closely aligned with our TWG. And this is a chance for us to sit around. We're going to sit down and have breakfast anyway, but let's sit around that breakfast table and talk through what some of the issues are. We've had some really lively, engaging conversations. I must admit, there's been a couple of times when we've gone over, and it only goes over because it's great conversation, and I really look forward to that. So know that if folks want to talk to us about potential things around winter weather management, whether research at what it might be, we are going to be getting together Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. Come find us. We'll be there.
Yeah, sweet. Jed, thanks so much for giving us the lowdown on what's going to happen with the Maintenance Operations TWG, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in July in Colorado.
Safe travels. We'll see everybody there.
Thanks for listening in on this year's National Briefing. You can catch them all and other Talkin' Winter Ops episodes on our website, talkinwinterops.com, at the AASHTO Winter Weather Management website at transportation.org/winter-weather-management, or wherever you get your podcast content. Video versions of this briefing are available on our Talkin' Winter Ops YouTube channel. Now, if something in this briefing sparked your interest, you can email me or our guests to keep the conversation going. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and stay safe out there.